Alright guys, so I could not believe this story when I stumbled across it, as you would think that stories like this would only happen in a country slash society that has gone completely insane. And unfortunately, in America, we do live in a society that has gone completely insane, which is why I'm talking about this story, which is a story that involves a high school girls volleyball team out of Vermont. And this girls volleyball team has been banned from the girls locker room over a conflict involving a transgender student on the team being in the locker room while the girls are getting undressed. Okay, again, a policy, something that just should not be allowed in an sane society. But again, we don't live in a sane society, which is why these stories happen. Okay, we're forcing young women to share locker rooms with biological men in the name of wokeness. And this story is also an important story because it reminds us how important local and state elections are. Okay, those are probably the most important elections that we have in regards to the impact on your life. And again, this story right here is a reminder of that, as the school claims that they are just following state law, right? Allowing biological boys to be in the same locker room with biological girls is just following the law. So I want to talk about this incident, but I want to go ahead and roll a clip first, a local news clip, so you guys can get a better understanding of what's going on in this situation. Take a look.
A high school volleyball team has been banned from its own locker room while school officials investigate a conflict involving a transgender student on the team.
Kiana Burks is live outside of Randolph Union High School, where she talked with one of the players who is now facing disciplinary action. Kiana, what do you know?
Vermont education policy says that students can play sports and use whatever locker room corresponds with their gender. But some members of the Randolph girls volleyball team say that they object to having one of their transgender teammates be in the room while they change. I spoke to one of the girls.
It's a huge thing. Everyone's asking, like, so why aren't you allowed in the locker room? Like,
high school student Blake Ellen and her teammates are currently barred from using the locker room after some of the girls on the team objected to allowing a transgender player in the girls' locker room.
My mom wants me to do this interview to try to make a change.
Ellen says the dispute started when the trans student made an inappropriate comment while members of the volleyball team were getting changed. She says her issue is not with having the trans student on the team or at school, but specifically in the locker room.
Biological boys that go in the girls' bathroom, but never a locker room situation.
She says that fellow team members and parents have also raised similar concerns and have approached the school with them. They were told that under state law, the transgender student could use whatever locker room they identified with. In an email to families, school officials said that the school has plenty of space where students who feel uncomfortable with the laws may change in privacy.
They want all the girls who feel uncomfortable, so pretty much 10 girls, to get changed in a single stall bathroom, which would take over 30 minutes, when if one person got changed separately, it would take a minute. Like, no extra time.
In the email to parents, school officials say they are conducting an investigation into allegations the girls harassed the transgender student. Lisa Floyd, the co-principal of Randolph Union High School, declined to go on camera, but in an email told me that student safety was the district's highest priority and that when policies are violated, disciplinary action consistent with the law will be taken. We also reached out to the state education agency but didn't get a response. AOE policy states in part that the use of restrooms and locker rooms by transgender students requires schools to consider numerous factors. But the policy goes on to state that a transgender student should not be required to use a locker room or restroom that conflicts with the student's gender identity.
So every girl, no one's allowed in the locker room, no volleyball girls. Even during school to get changed for gym class, no one's allowed from volleyball.
And the school says that their decision to close the locker rooms and launch the investigation should not be seen as judgment on either side of the dispute, and say that they are continuing to work to create the safest environment possible for all of their students. Reporting in Randolph, Kiana Burks, Channel 3.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say this, okay? And this must be noted. This girl is extremely brave. This is what bravery and courage looks like, okay? Because this girl is in high school, guys, high school. And she is speaking up about an issue that could potentially lead to her getting a whole lot of unwanted harassment and hate from the left-wing woke revolutionary super liberal activists, right? Because she's speaking out about an issue that the left believes it's not really an issue, okay, which is having biological men in the same bathroom or using the same bathroom or locker room with biological girls. We've seen what happened with Penn State and how the girls on the swimming team was afraid to speak up against Leah Thomas, okay, the transgender swimmer who was dominating the girls' competition. They were afraid to speak up despite the fact that Leah Thomas, who is a biological male, was allegedly, just kind of walking around swinging, right? Walking around swinging in front of girls' faces. He didn't get the battle scars that he should have got if he was really about that life, okay? So again, women were subjected to that because these schools have lost every ounce of common sense. In this case, the state and the school, okay, the school going along with the state has lost common sense, right? Because basically they're telling this young girl that she's out of luck, right? Too bad, so sad. You don't like seeing penises in locker rooms? Hey, it is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. Because as a biological woman, you're supposed to inconvenience yourself and go use a separate changing place, alternative changing place, a single room bathroom, right? 10 of you girls supposed to go and, go in there and use the bathroom because you're supposed to accommodate the 1%, right? You're supposed to accommodate this transgender student. So we have a school and state policy that requires the 99% to accommodate the 1% instead of the 1% accommodating the 99%, right? Which again is why this makes no sense whatsoever. Why does it make sense to send a bunch of girls who are uncomfortable with one transgender student in a girls' locker room to a single bathroom changing room to change clothes? They all can't fit in there and they would have to wait. That would make it a lot more inefficient, right? It's a lot more inefficient. Instead of just making the transgender student go and use the alternative single room changing room, because I'm pretty sure there's not a ton of transgender students walking around at school, right? That would make a lot more sense. And that would be the perfect solution to this problem. Just have a separate changing room. The transgender student doesn't feel comfortable changing in the locker room that it matches their sex. Fine. Here's an alternative one. Here's a single room where you can go change it, but you're not going to go change in the restroom of the opposite biological sex. You're not going to, especially if you're swinging. Especially if you're swinging, which should be the case for every high school biological male, because these kids shouldn't be undergoing these types of transitions at such a young age, right? So again, there should be no circumstances where this happens. And that's not discriminating against a transgender student. All that is that that's making sure that everybody has a comfortable solution, okay? Transgender student doesn't have to change in front of men or women. Transgender student doesn't have to change in front of their same biological sex, right? Because they're not comfortable with that. But biological women or biological men don't have to share the same locker room with those of the opposite biological sex. Everybody's satisfied. But again, it's what I told you guys. It's not about equal rights. It's about special rights. Special rights are being given to certain groups of people. That is what is happening. None of these solutions that the left propose is actually about equality. They would have a much better argument. I'll be much more understanding if they wanted true equality. That's the true equality position. Transgender students just get alternative restrooms to change it, right? That's the solution. But again, the left doesn't want that solution. That's not the solution that they want. Because again, they're trying to grant special rights and privileges to people based off their skin color, their genitals, and whether or not they like their genitals and who they like to sleep with, right? That is what they're trying to do. It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So with that being said, again, it is important that you vote in your state elections, okay? This took place in Vermont. Vermont definitely leans left on a lot of these issues, which again is all the more reason why you have to participate in your local state elections. Those elections are what really impact your life the most, okay? Because again, if that state was ran by people that were sane, this would not be a policy on the books, and these girls would never be subjected to such a tragic and uncomfortable experience. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.